Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Arirang Newsbreak live from Seoul. I'm Han Da-eun. The Federal Reserve has kept interest rates unchanged, citing the need to monitor the global economy and inflation. And it did not hint at any possible hikes down the road. We begin this morning with Park Jong-hong.
It was the third consecutive rate freeze of the year. The Federal Reserve's policy-setting committee decided to keep the lending rates at the current range of 0.25% to 0.5%. While the committee noted U.S. employment and the housing market appear to be improving, it added that the country's exports remain lackluster. In particular, the Fed warned that the U.S. economy is slowing down along with the rest of the world. Reflecting this trend, the Fed's first quarter economic growth estimate was downgraded to the 0% level from the 2+% forecast at the beginning of the year. The Fed also left the door open to a hike in June, implying that it was in no hurry to raise rates. It said inflation was expected to remain low in the near term, but expressed confidence it would rise to its 2% target over the medium term. Some analysts speculate the first rate increase of 2016 may happen in September. Others say that unless there's a rate hike in June, there's a chance it would be pushed back until after the U.S. presidential election. That would mean December at the earliest. Park Jong-hong, Arirang News.
In response to the Fed's rate freeze, international oil prices rose about 3%. On the New York Mercantile Exchange, West Texas Intermediate for June delivery finished trading at $45.33 a barrel, up $1.29 or 2.93%. That's the highest it's been this year. On London's ICE futures market, Brent crude for June delivery was trading at $47.35 a barrel, 3.5% higher than the previous day. Korean tech giant Samsung Electronics posted stronger than expected earnings in the first quarter of this year. According to the company's regulatory filing, net profit came to over $4.5 billion, up almost 14% from a year ago. Operating profit edged up nearly 12% to over $5.8 billion, while sales rose about 6% to $43.3 billion. The earnings are almost in line with the earnings guidance released earlier this month. Samsung attributed the strong earnings to a better-than-expected performance by its mobile division, which posted an operating profit of $3.4 billion, up over 40% on year. This thanks to strong sales of Samsung's new flagship smartphone models released in March. Samsung's semiconductor arm posted $2.3 billion in operating profit, down 10% on year amid falling chip prices. In a bid to spur domestic spending and boost tourism, the Korean government is set to announce a one-off national holiday next week. During a cabinet meeting that's taking place as we speak, President Park Geun-hye and government officials are highly likely to approve next Friday, May 6th, as an extra day off. It aims to give people a 4-day weekend following Children's Day next Thursday. The idea was initially proposed by Korea's Chamber of Commerce and Industry to boost economic sentiment. The government took a similar step last year, designating the Friday before the August 15th National Liberation Day as an extra national holiday to celebrate 70 years of Korea's liberation from Japanese colonial rule. Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump has outlined his goals for an America First foreign policy. There were few concrete details, but watchers say the overriding message was clear, and South Korea could be one of the first affected if he wins the White House. Shin Se-min reports.
In what appears to be the first in a round of speeches aimed at demonstrating the Republican presidential candidate's policy chops, Donald Trump gave a foreign policy address in Washington on Wednesday. Calling for an America First foreign policy, the Republican frontrunner pressed the need to put the interests of the American people and U.S. security above all else. Trump said the current administration had been humiliated over a number of issues, including its foreign policy. stressing that President Obama has allowed China to continue its economic assault on American jobs and wealth by refusing to enforce trade deals and put leverage on China necessary to rein in Pyongyang. Trump said the U.S. should make use of Beijing's influence over North Korea. The issue of cost-sharing with U.S. allies ranked the second on Trump's 5 main weaknesses with U.S. foreign policy. Although he made no remarks about South Korea in particular, he suggested that if elected, he would pull all U.S. troops out of the country if Seoul refused to pay more for their upkeep. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
Korea has confirmed its second Zika infection in a man who recently visited the Philippines. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says a 20-year-old man tested positive for the virus. He was on vacation in the Philippines for 5 days starting April 10th and first showed symptoms of a cold and rash last week. The center says the patient was bitten by a mosquito during his stay. Last month, a 43-year-old man was confirmed to have been infected with the disease after returning to Korea from Brazil. The latest patient is now in stable condition, but officials say he will be hospitalized for further tests and treatment in case symptoms worsen. That's all for now. Stay tuned to Arirang for more news updates coming up at noon.